Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about mental health and atopic dermatitis. I was asked to do this video by a girl named Hannah. Hannah was the only other girl that I knew with severe skin problems like me, and she was younger than me, so it always broke my heart because I knew what she had to go through. Thought I lost my magnifier. I actually screenshotted what she sent me, so I'll try to have that pop up right there. I hope this is a good angle. Oh, I can kind of see. Hey. Who knows? You know what? We're not perfect. Sometimes it's still hard to realize that other people go through the exact same things you go through, so I didn't want to do a whole video about just my experience. Here's some of what Hannah wrote. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is whenever you get your skin cleared up and you be looking good, hey, for a day or two, then boom, here comes another flare up. Sometimes it be having you feel like, why even bother, you know? It's a 24/7, every day, year-round job, and it gets so tiring at times. I'm gonna stop right there. Even now that my skin is cleared up, people think that it's like just non-existent. They're like, oh, your skin's better. It's gonna stay that way, right? No, I still have flare-ups, random spots now. It's not like head to toe. Sometimes though, it still gets bad. And in the back of my mind, it's always like, is this gonna make me flare up? Is this going to make me break out like I used to? A thing that people never understood was I didn't control it, and that's something I had to accept. I didn't control when my skin broke out. People are like, oh, why are you broken out? And I'm like, I have a skin disease. Because they're like, well, I know that. Then I'm always going to break out. That's just how it works with skin diseases. You don't control it. It controls you. So that's one thing that really does suck, is you will have a good week, but then that whole week of good skin, good clear skin, you're like, when is it going to break out again? And that's something that's just really taunting, especially when you're younger. You're like, I'm having a good day, but tomorrow I might wake up and feel like crap. Also, do you enjoy my fuzzy case? Yeah, it's so cool. Then she says, personally, my skin has affected my mental health a lot. It changed the way I looked at myself for a while. I hated myself and the way I was, but I always try and turn a neg into a positive. On the bright side, it taught me empathy and compassion and really showed me what I want to dedicate my life to, which is helping people. So I guess there's a good and bad. Yeah, for sure. I've talked about that in my last skin video. You just look at yourself as so different because people point it out to you all the time, and it's like, yeah, thank you for pointing out my insecurities, you asshole. You just you look at yourself differently. Having skin like that just makes people look at you with disgust in a way a lot of times. Or I got bless your heart in Kentucky. That's what I always got. Put sunscreen on. That was always something I wanted to punch someone in the face for, because I'm like, you asshole, I can't even go in the sun. That's just something I think that you can't get over with a skin disease. You're constantly looking at yourself as something totally different than human in a way. You just gotta learn to ignore people, which is something I never was good at and I'm still working on. People are gonna stare at you. Own it. It's funny because she says it taught her empathy and compassion, and I have to say I was the complete opposite. I was so bitter and angry, and I wish I could take that back now, but I'm learning to not be that way. That's something that me and her took differently, which her way is the right way. My way is the complete wrong way. Now I'm like, ugh, don't be jealous. That's not a good look for anybody. I really was. I was so envious of other girls my age because they were normal. They were living this normal life that I will never get to live. For me, I had to learn empathy, which is really sad. While I was jealous of someone as a kid, they were probably going through something just as hard emotionally. So I think that's something good to keep in mind. And something we can learn from Hannah is to take a bad situation and create empathy and be a good person and show kindness as we're going through bad things. Then she goes on to say, I'll be having a bad flare-up and say I'll be buying a candy bar. And whenever I reach out my arm where you can see my flare, I can literally see their expression on their face change to, disgust or concern. It's like I can tell they want to ask questions, but don't. And girl, I wore long sleeves for a long time to avoid situations like that because I was ashamed, and that's where mental health comes in. And just learning not to care what others think. But for a long time, I would avoid doing things because of my skin. It would hold me back a lot. Then came the anxiety. Yes, girl, that anxiety and all that because of my skin, but it just would affect how I interacted with people. And if I was having a flare-up, I would just stay in the house because I didn't want people staring at me, or I didn't want to deal with the questions that day. Yes, during school, I would miss a lot when I had a bad flare-up. And mostly, yes, it was because it hurt. I would stay home, but people didn't comprehend that you just don't want to be asked questions about your appearance every day. You get it all the time. And I don't have to deal with the stares anymore because I'm blind. I can't see them. Joke's on you, mother. I don't have to put up with looking at people staring at me anymore, which is awesome. I love that. Perks of being blind. Bet you never thought anybody would say that. I developed anxiety because I needed to use my cane, which was something else people would stare at me for. I guess the anxiety started earlier on in my life because I wouldn't want to leave my house because I didn't want to deal with people walking up to me and saying ignorant things. They just didn't comprehend that you shouldn't talk that way to another human. The anxiety is real. The depression is real when it comes to severe atopic dermatitis. There was one instance where I was square dancing at Carter Caves and this guy pulled up my sleeve because I guess my hand was broken out, and he was like, he probably thought I had poison ivy, and I'm just like, people just kind of assume things and want to believe what they want to believe because they don't comprehend it. I've learned a lot of times people who don't understand something don't want to understand it. The most recent encounter was this lady at Walmart. Big shock. She was probably middle-aged, and she came up to me. That's right, she came up to me and she said, "Oh honey, did you get sunburnt?" And I was like, "No, I have a skin disease, and that'd be fine if that was the end of it." Or she was like, "Oh, wow, okay." She looked at me and she said, "Well, I would just tell people it was a sunburn." One, you approached me. Two, that's what's wrong with me. That's my life. You don't get to tell me what to tell other people is wrong with me when I'm telling the truth, lady. If that was a younger version of me, are you kidding me? Don't tell that to a kid because people think that I'm 11. So if this lady's going around giving advice to children, stop talking to children, lady. That one irked me so bad. Because I was just like, you asked me what was wrong with me and you didn't like the answer. So then she thinks she can tell me what to tell other people because she can't accept that I have a skin disease that is that bad. So that one still blows my mind. My feet are numb. Why am I setting like this? Okay. Now they're tingling. Now my feet are tingling. Then Hannah goes on to say, but also I have asthma and other health conditions that go hand in hand with my skin condition that I have because of my skin condition and the medicine I had been put on. It really takes a toll on your mentality as well as physically. And like the pools and water and the food allergies and just being conscious of everything you do, because I would always be trying to avoid a breakout or flare up. Yes, yes, and yes. Asthma, allergies, and atopic dermatitis or eczema, they all go hand in hand. So if you have one, you're probably gonna have the other. Oh my God, my feet. Why am I so dumb? Am I still on camera? Yeah, you're not. You're always subconsciously thinking, is this gonna give me a breakout? Is this gonna give me a breakout? Even now, when I'm doing a lot better, I am still concerned that I'm not gonna be able to breathe all of a sudden, or I'm gonna start getting a rash, or just, it's so annoying. My allergies have gotten better as well as my skin and asthma, but there's still something that really prevents me from doing everything I want to. A lot of times people will be like, oh, you only do the things you want to do. You can believe that all you want, I really don't care. But until you have asthma and allergies and atopic dermatitis, you have no idea what you're talking about. I push myself when I want to do something. I'll admit that. I push myself harder. Is that a good thing? Probably not, but sometimes you have to, I think, just to live your life a little bit. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's worth the breakout. I ate eggs the other day and I used to be really badly allergic to them, and sometimes I break out, sometimes I don't, and I'm like, we're gonna risk it because you're craving eggs. I like eggs. It's things like that that you just have to sort of feel out. And the pools and water, oh my God, you guys don't even realize, even talking about it still is just, it ain't it. Pools, ooh, they would burn. If you've had a cut and you've poured alcohol in it, that's how it feels getting in a pool with a bunch of little cuts on your body. Maybe not to that extent, but like it's just itchy and it makes it uncomfortable and it makes it burn, and it's not a pleasant time. It makes me feel disgusting even thinking about when my skin was that broken out. Baths were the same. Sometimes I would push myself. That's an instance where I would push myself because I loved swimming, even though it hurt. Sometimes I would get used to it and it wouldn't burn as bad and it wouldn't itch as bad once I got in the water and stayed in there for a little bit. People take that for granted, and a lot of my friends and stuff kind of stopped inviting me to go swimming and things, which I understand, but it just sucks because, you know, you always feel left out. You can't swim in lakes and the ocean. Oh, that burned really bad when I was younger. You feel left out a lot, and that takes a mental toll on you when you feel left out, especially as like a teenager and stuff. Like, you understand that they don't mean to leave you out of these things, or they don't mean to, you know, just not invite you, because you know, like, you know, they know that you have a skin disease.
We know they know we know.
Rain is another thing that burned like hell. There was one time I was walking across campus and it started raining, and I was just like melting. All those small things just take a toll on your mental health. So it's not only battling your physical discomfort, you're battling your internal discomfort, which is a lot. I will say, I'm scratching right now. Haha, trauma. Thank you, Hannah, for the idea. I hope this helps you, and I hope you can relate to it, and I hope other people can relate to it with eczema or atopic dermatitis. And I hope this setup isn't weird. I'm back in Arizona. I kind of broke out a few days, and then I thought I burnt myself in the sun, because we try, but sometimes we don't succeed. I need to get a better setup, but this is what you get right now. Hey, if you liked this video, hit that little like button. Comment below if you want to know any specific things about atopic dermatitis, or if you have your own experiences with atopic dermatitis. I really want to know because I'm really curious. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll put 2 videos here related to my skin. What up? I don't want my feet to go numb again. Oh, I hope I got all of that.